We are group 188. We created the app Unipop, and these are our research findings from the app creation process. So starting off with video interviews, on the next slide we can see an example. Oops. Here we can see an example of 2 video interviews taking place. They were conducted to understand students' buying habits, motivations, and frustrations with existing resale platforms. By talking with students directly, our goal was to identify unmet needs in the retail space and shape a product tailored to campus life. The global apparel market shows a significant opportunity. While most purchases still occur in person, online sales continue to grow. Unipop seeks to bridge the strengths of both formats by offering an easy, local, and student-centered resale marketplace. Although our sample was small, the interviews revealed consistent themes: student value, convenience, affordability, safety, and immediacy. Using that going forward, we can implement that into Unipop. Next, you can see kind of just some of the questions that we were asking in the video interviews to collect that data.
All right, moving on to the associative results and ladder from our interview. Using the associative method, we used prompts like, I'd be more likely to buy clothes from a student if, I usually feel happy because, and if I could change one thing about the current clothes selling apps, it would be. And in the interview that we did the ladder for, we asked questions like, how do you usually buy or sell clothes right now? When was the last time you bought or sold something secondhand? And how do you feel about buying clothes from other students on campus? And more. The goal of these methods were to understand the emotional, functional, and social motivations behind how UCSD students buy and sell secondhand clothing, and to identify the specific unmet needs that would lead them to adopt Unipop. These methods showed us that students are motivated most by trust, convenience, and emotional connection when buying secondhand, and want the convenience of shopping online without the stress and delays of apps that already exist like Depop and Poshmark. We learned that students will use Unipop if the process is local, convenient, safe, and personalized. Existing resale apps fail mostly because of shipping delays and low trust and high fees, but students also value community and want to engage with peers who have the same style. So Unipop bridges online and offline resale by offering a campus-based system where students can buy and sell directly with verified peers meeting on campus for quick and safe exchanges.
Okay, moving on to our Qualtrics survey and the key findings we took away from that. So we asked a variety of questions on our Qualtrics survey regarding insight on audience reception to Unipop. Following the survey, we found that a majority of students would be inclined to use the app in response to questions asking about interest and whether or not there's already a market for the context of the app. We were able to customize our survey, and we used various question methods in order to obtain a full range of responses from the audience. This included multiple choice, write-in answers, Likert scale, and multi-select questions. This allowed us to gain detailed feedback from what people are looking for within this app. The questions we were aiming to answer included student demographics, interest of the idea, and likeliness to use the app. We also included features such as seller verification, selling fee, app experience and personalization, and safety features. The results from asking these certain questions and mentioning these features allowed us to understand what the general audience is looking for. We found that in our results, there's a split between those who have sold or not sold clothes on an app before. A majority of students currently live on or near campus, and that a majority of students are willing to use the app with little to no seller's fee and with local sellers. So overall, we learned valuable insight and information based on the results and answers from our Qualtrics survey. And the main takeaway being that a majority of students would be in favor of using our app to sell clothes on campus with little to no fees and no need to travel far.
Based on that Qualtrics survey, we did a cluster analysis, and if you could go to the next one. Here's our dendrogram. By making this, we saw that there were 4 clear segments. After assigning each respondent a segment, here's what we analyzed about the results. Can you skip to this? Yeah. Across the 4 segments, we saw patterns that help explain how different types of students shop for clothes and what they think of the idea of Unipop. Segment 1, although only one responded, is frustrated by shipping costs, values affordability, and is extremely likely to use an app like UniFit. Segment 2 shows the strongest consistency. These students care deeply about saving money, sustainability, and overall clothing quality. They all rated affordability, sustainability, safety, and name brand quality as important, and they were all moderately to highly likely to use UniFit. Segment 3 had 2 respondents who shared similar frustrations about sizing, driving, and trying on clothes. They spend very little per month, both shop in similar places, and both rate convenience, sustainability, and trendiness relatively low. Their pain points center around effort and fit. Segment 4, both respondents rated safety, trust, quality, and fast availability as top priorities, but placed almost no importance on supporting students' sustainability or trendiness. Their frustrations were mostly about time and fit. I think that the limitations here were the number of responses we got for our survey. Since it wasn't a big number, we can't say for sure all of our consumers will fit into these segments. And even then, there were respondents that didn't fit into any of the 4 segments listed above. If we wanted actual results we could rely on, I would redo the survey and try to get more respondents. Overall, each segment shows a set of shared priorities and frustrations that align well with different user needs for a campus-based clothing resale app.
Finally, we finish it off from our insights from the conjoint survey and counterfactual simulation. Thanks. Thank you. It really just kind of rounded off, very similar to all of the previous slides mentioning kind of these 3 major things. Basically, a seller verification feature, a lower selling fee, and then just personalization / social features. That's kind of the main thing that we really could see across everything. And the only thing that really differed from our ideal app was just that lower kind of sales fee. Obviously, we need a little bit of a sales fee to stay in business. But aside from that, to kind of finish it all off, I just want to thank you. This is our project.
Thank you.
Thank you.